Okay, this is Ganesh here. Good morning, good evening. So we'll get started now. Now, what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at CI/CD. That's one of the important pillar of DevOps. I hope you guys know few things about DevOps. If not, we are going to quickly look at what exactly is DevOps, and then we are going to look at the CI/CD part of it as well. I'm sure you're going to enjoy today's session. It's going to be an introductory session for CI/CD, and hope you guys will have a few questions towards the end, and we are going to look at and we're going to answer the questions toward the end. Let's get started. So what's the agenda today? We are going to look at basic DevOps agile relationship. I'm going to start from there, and then I'm going to get into the practical usage of DevOps. And then we'll be looking at continuous integration, continuous delivery, and I'm going to quickly show you how the things are going to be implemented using some of the tools. The tool like Jenkins is one of the most famous tool that's currently been used in the industry for implementing continuous integration and delivery. And we'll be showcasing a simple end-to-end delivery pipeline, which will help us to implement and understand what is CI and CD as well. Now let's start with understanding first thing about DevOps. I hope you guys by now have good understanding or have heard about DevOps. Now, DevOps is there in the industry for almost 7 to 8 years now. So definitely not a new thing, but it's still very important for every industry to get implemented. Now, what do we understand by DevOps? DevOps is basically a software development and delivery process that emphasizes communication, collaboration between different stakeholders. Now, who are the stakeholders in an SDLC? What is SDLC? That's our software development lifecycle. So who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders is going to be the product development team, QA team, operations team, and the business owners. So it's basically the process which emphasizes communication, collaboration between all these stakeholders. And what is the goal? Goal is to improve the speed at which you will be able to deliver your application. Now, does that sound something familiar to Agile? Maybe, but there's definitely a good amount of difference between Agile and DevOps. We'll see that. So the main goal of DevOps is to make sure you have such process implemented in your SDLC, which is going to help you to deliver your application at a fast pace. And it does apply not just to Agile, but to the traditional waterfall method as well. Okay, it's not necessarily has to be Agile. Now, does that help? So if I look SDLC, software development lifecycle, I have all these different phases in here, starting with planning, implementation, and then starting with coding, application build, application testing, and then you move into the application packaging, release management, and then monitoring, deploying the application into production and monitoring that application into production. So it's going to be your end-to-end delivery cycle that you look at, which has all these different phases in it. Now, if I'm looking at a process to help me to fast pace my delivery, I have to actually trigger or automate most of these functions. So it's going to be the code, build, test that I need to look at how can I automate these functions. Now, these are the functions which are worked on by different teams. Okay. Now, if I want to segregate that as part of a team that an individual person is going to work in, then it's going to be the development team, a QA team, and an operations team member. So these three teams working together are going to help the entire application delivery. And these three teams target these functions individually. So the coding, build, and unit testing to some extent is going to be the development team's functions. Application testing, thoroughly testing an application for functionality, for uh, performance, that's something the QA team is going to work with. And then you have packaging, release management, configuration management, and deployment and application monitoring in production looked into by the operations team. So these three teams working together are going to help us to implement DevOps. Now, where does continuous integration comes into picture? That's where the code build section is been looked into. Okay, so I have the code build and test, these colored um, points or the phases, which are the one which are related to the CI and CD part of it. Now, when I'm saying CD, it's going to be the continuous delivery. Okay, now let's look at what are different um, understandings or terminologies that we have in DevOps. Let's look at Agile and DevOps relationship. As I mentioned, some of the points that we discussed about DevOps, those sound familiar to Agile as well. That's what usually we would think of Agile will help us to achieve. Now, if I look at Agile, it's not about making sure that application is delivered at a fast pace. That's not something that we are looking at. Agile is basically for making sure we get an early feedback from the user, so we can incorporate the feedback or the suggestions or the changes into the application at an early stage, so that whatever timeline that we have planned for the actual application delivery, we adhere to that. So Agile is basically the crux of what I just talked about. Now there are different um, methodologies and practices in Agile that people go for. It can be a Kanban, or it can be Scrum, and it can be any other uh, methodology as well. But basically, Agile is going to target that. You're going to look at an early delivery. But in most cases, it has been seen that these methodologies uh, start crumbling down because of some of the obstacles that we face in collaboration or integration, or the phases where the application build is related. Now, how does that help me to, or how does DevOps can help me to overcome that? Now, DevOps is something that's going to address exactly these things. That how you will be able to automate the process of build, application testing, and how you are going to integrate each developer's work or each QA tester's work into the process. So Agile has some reasons to be implemented, but it can fail due to some reasons, and that's where DevOps is going to help us or come into picture to help us to make sure that process gets successful. So it's basically advocating Agile to be implemented with making Agile successful using DevOps. Okay, so basically Agile, or rather DevOps, is not a replacement for Agile. It has nothing to do with replacing any of the existing process, but it's going to make sure that your Agile, or for the sake any development methodology, it can be your traditional waterfall methodology as well, is going to make sure it's going to be successful by automating most of the functions that we have in SDLC and overcoming the challenges that we have in there, like integration or build, testing, and so on. The handshake between different teams. Okay. Now, what does drive? What are the points that actually drives the DevOps implementation? That's basically the market competition. Everyone needs to stay ahead of the competitors. They need to make sure they are delivering the application as early as possible ahead of their competitors. Okay, that's one of the reasons, and that's where we are trying to have Agile as well. And that's where we are looking at how we can implement such a process that can help us to deliver the application at an early time or ahead of my competitors. And that's what DevOps is going to help to achieve. Some of the other business drivers that are ever changing business needs, those can be related to some rules and regulations that have been implemented or changed, and that can force some of the features in your application to be modified. Something like a sector of banking and insurance, if there are some changes or regulation into regulations and rules, you're going to have that implemented in your application as well. So some of these changes will always push frequent changes into your application. Quick to market requirement. You need to make sure you are delivering your application as early as possible. Whenever you are going to get an feedback from your customers, you need to make sure those requirements are fulfilled as early as possible. And ultimately, a conflicting scenario between your teams. So apart from the business drivers, there are some internal process reasons or drivers which are related to process, like conflicting scenarios between the teams like QA, development, and operations. Now, what can be those conflicts? Conflicts like the handshake between dev and QA, or handshake between dev and operations, and vice versa. So how do I overcome that? And that's what DevOps is going to help with. We're going to look at a simple uh, terminology. Now, these are the basic building blocks of DevOps. This takes care of the entire picture of DevOps as such. Now, what are these terminologies? So when I say continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment, it covers almost 85% of my entire DevOps landscape. So DevOps is something that's going to help me to mitigate the issues that I'm having in SDLC, and CI/CD and continuous deployment are going to help me to achieve that. Now, what is continuous integration? Continuous integration is a software development practice in which team members integrate their work frequently, leading to multiple integrations per day. What does this mean? Does that does that make any sense? So what I'm trying to say in here is, let's try to understand. I have a team in here. I have around 3 to 4 team members working in a development of for an application, and these guys are working on different features. Now, while they are working on the features, they need to make sure they test their application frequently. Now, traditionally, if I look at what scenario and what is the process that I follow, usually people go for a daily build and nightly build. Now, these terms can be familiar to you. So what is daily build and nightly build? It's basically the build time or the build cycles that you're going to run at a certain time. So usually the development teams go for one build in the daytime and one build in the nighttime. So the developers make sure that they check in the code into the version control system prior to running the cycle, and whenever the application has been checked into the version control system, the build is going to run at a particular time and it's going to give you the results. Now, if I'm not able to catch that train of the daily build, I'll have to wait for the nightly build to implement. So I'll have to make sure my code gets checked into the nightly build into the version control system, and then I'll be able to see my application getting built and I'll wait for the results to come. If there is a failure, I'll have to work on the correction and recheck in the code into the version control system. And then again, I'll have to wait for the next build cycle to run. Now that's a kind of a tedious and a very clumsy way of working at it. Now that's okay if I'm working for a in an application which has not very aggressive timeline of delivery. But we just discussed about today's scenario is very aggressive. Now, how do I cope up with that? So I'm looking at one such process that will help me to integrate each developer's work into the build cycle every time whenever the developer wants. Okay, so by this sentence, what I mean is the developer will be able to integrate his work or her work into the build cycle frequently whenever they want. So now, as a developer, I'm a developer in one of the team. I just checked into the version control system. I checked my code into the version control system as I completed my work. I don't have to wait for the daily or nightly build to run. Instead, as soon as I check in the code into the version control system, the build cycle is going to run for me. And I'm going to get the results about build success or failure in some time, depending on what the complexity of the application, right? So I'll be able to get that result early. Now that's going to be there for every developer. As and when it's going to be checked into the uh, the integration of the code will start and will start with the process of building the application. Now this process will keep on running, uh, you know, till the end when you have the product in a working condition. So as a developer, my functionalities would be compiling the application, unit testing the application, and then probably packaging the application. So I'm going to look at these three things getting implemented as and when that I'm going to expect. So continuous integration is going to help each and every developer to integrate his or her work into the build process frequently as and when they want to. And that the way that I'm going to schedule or that I'm going to trigger this process, I can set that into my tool. So each integration helps to reveal the integration errors, as I mentioned. Every time when the build is going to run, I'm going to get the success or failure. Depending on that, I'll be able to work on correction or pass my feature for further testing. I can hand it over to the QA team for further testing that feature into the main application. Okay, so continuous integration is something that is talking about the developer's activities. Now, is that all? Not really. I have QA persons to work on that so that my application gets thoroughly tested for functionality and performance. Now, do I want to run that manually again? I automated everything in continuous integration, but I want to automate my QA as well in the same flow. So I have a process called as continuous delivery. Now, continuous delivery, the word delivery does not mean that I'm going to deploy my application into um, the production environment. That comes into the deployment. Okay, so continuous delivery is an extension to the existing continuous integration, which is going to take the application further for thoroughly testing your code into different um, test phases. So the next cycle that will run after continuous integration would be continuous delivery, and in there that would be functional testing, regression testing, performance testing, and then finally UAT. Now let me take you to the next. Um, Let me jump on to the next phase in here. Yeah, I'll just quickly talk about what is continuous delivery. So this phase is going to help you to understand, few of the things about continuous delivery. So I have the build and unit testing. So the build and unit testing is something that is about the developers activities that's going to be targeted, whereas automated acceptance test, user acceptance test, these are some of the tests that will be for the QA people to work with. Now let's understand automated acceptance test is about functionality and performance testing. Now I have basically three different cycles depicted in here. Okay, so the first cycle is about checking in the code into the version control system. That's going to trigger the build and unit testing. And if there is a failure, it's going to send in feedback to the developer, the delivery team. Now the delivery team is expected to take an corrective action in here. So they will take the corrective action. They will check back the code into the version control system in the next cycle again. So this is the next cycle. Now after making the changes and after checking in the code, the corrected code into the version control system, there's going to be one more trigger. That's again going to start with build and unit testing. Now this time I'm expecting it to be successful. So it's going to be successful. It's going to take that as a trigger for starting my functional testing. Now I am moving into the continuous delivery part. So this is starting with the next functional regression testing as such. Now let's expect something has gone wrong. It has identified a build failure, or not a build failure, but a test failure. It's going to send an feedback to the delivery team. Now here the delivery team can be the QA or the development team. So they'll have to take the corrective action in here. Okay. Now as soon as the corrective action has been taken, the team would check in the code back into the version control system. The same cycle would get triggered again. Now here I'm expecting the build and unit testing as already has been passed. So it's going to run the same thing again. This is going to trigger my next testing phase. It's going to complete that successfully as I have corrected few things in it. And it's going to start with the next phase of testing as well. Now this can be your UAT, or this can be your performance testing, and so on, followed with UAT as well. So outcome of this process is what? I have a deployable product in my hand that I can deploy to production at any moment of the time. Okay, so coming back to my continuous delivery understanding, what is continuous delivery? Continuous delivery is going to ensure my code is in releasable state, in a deployable state. Okay, so CD, the continuous delivery, is going to ensure fast feedback from the test environments, and continuous integration is going to ensure early feedback from your build and compilation in unit testing phase. So what you're targeting in here, you're basically targeting the entire development and QA work to be automated. Now, does that mean I'm taking out some of the activities from the developer and QA? Not really. I have to have the QA and the developer still working with me, but I'm making sure I'm not loading them with some activities that are not supposed to be done by them, like running the build or running the test and so on. Need not be run manually. As soon as the developers are going to complete their activity, check in the code, the Jenkins CI/CD tool will trigger that and will start with build, unit testing, and will send a feedback about success or failure. So this is a closed loop control system. Now you might have studied some time back in your curriculum about closed loop control systems. You remember that? Okay, it's something very similar to that. So the only thing that comes in here is the developers working actively for correcting the failure. Now the developers, if they do not take the corrective action right at the failure time, you are basically going to kill the entire motto or the requirement of continuous integration. Okay, so how I'm going to look at the developers are the one which are going to make sure the CI cycle is running and successful, wherein the CD is something that is more about not just development but about testing the entire application as well. Okay, so that's more about theory. What comes further? Okay, now how do I basically achieve this? It's about theory. I'll be able to achieve this and all, but what are the ways that I can achieve this? So I had to have some sort of tool to implement that, and here comes Jenkins to help us. So Jenkins is one such application which has capability to basically automate any type of process that you can think of. Okay, you think of a development process, you think of a QA process, you think of operations teams processes. Let's say as part of an operations team member, I am a Unix administrator. Okay, so I'm going to check in into the Unix box and perform my daily activities about the server maintenance, the disk space maintenance. So there are a lot of daily activities that are allowed to run. May not be manually allowed to run some script to perform that and so on. Now, can I automate this all? Certainly you can. People have been doing automation for a long time. And as I mentioned, particularly for those into administration, there are a lot of scripting that people do, like shell scripts or Python, Perl, and so on, particularly into the Linux and Unix world. Same goes for the Windows administrators as well. They have PowerShell scripts to implement and automate most of the functions. But I can tell you one thing, scripts are not everlasting. Scripts have their own life because a script written by someone may not be easily maintainable by someone who hasn't written that. You can take my word, and I have experienced that hundreds of times. When I write a script today, maybe 100 or 1,000 line of script for performing a lot of automation. If I have implemented that, it works fine today. It works for next year without any issues. Now there is a requirement that comes to me, and I'll have to make sure now I have to get into that script and make some changes. Even though I have written that script a year back, it's going to take some time for me to understand what I have actually done in that script. Okay, so maintaining script written in Perl, Python, Shell, PowerShell are not easily maintainable. Now, how can I overcome that as well? Now, that's what Jenkins or likewise tools in DevOps are there to help us. Okay, so Jenkins is one of such tools. Now, currently or today, we are talking about Jenkins being used as a CI/CD. What is it? That's CI. That's my continuous integration and delivery. But apart from that, I can assure you Jenkins has been used for automating a lot of different processes that you can see in SDLC. Okay. Now let's understand what are different features or other versions of Jenkins that are available today. There's a classic Jenkins that has been used for ages now. Jenkins, I can assure, it's not a new tool. It's there for long time now, almost a decade or more than that. And people have been using extensively for implementing CI and CD. It's one of the most favorite tools. There are reasons to that. It's basically an open source tool, and it's very flexible to automate. It's very flexible, and it's all driven through plugins. Now, what are plugins? Plugins is basically a simple API kind of a program or a application or simple a code that's going to help me to integrate two different type of tools together. Let's say I want to have a simple a tool, rather a process that I want to automate. Now in a process there are going to be different tools that I'm going to use. Let's take an example of CI, a continuous integration process. If I want to automate that, what are different tools that I am going to use? Now I'm a developer. I'm going to daily use my version control tool. I'm also going to need the development environment or development tool, uh, any development kit or SDK or whatever that you're going to use for. Then there's going to be a build tool as well. That's going to be uh, Maven or Gradle or Ant or MS Build. It all depends on what platform that you're working on. So let's say I'm working on Java. So what's going to be the build environment in there? That can be Maven or Gradle or Ant. So here I'm going to have a build server, which is going to be having Maven or Gradle in it. Okay, so now I'm talking about two tools. One is a version control tool, and a build tool. Then I need to package that application as well. So I can look for a packaging application, or I might have to test my application using some unit testing application. So I need to look for that unit testing application as well. So there are different tools that I have to use during my day-to-day development functions. Now, if I want to automate these, I need to make sure I'm able to integrate these tools together to form my pipeline. And that's where the plugins are going to help me. Okay, so Jenkins has plugins, rather the classic Jenkins version is driven all through plugin. It has all different type of plugins that are going to help to integrate different tools together. And that is ultimately going to help me to integrate my or have my continuous integration implemented. Now, classic Jenkins is a server driven tool, which I'm going to install on servers, physical or virtual servers, and then I'm going to run through that. So I have responsibility of maintaining the hardware, the platform, the infrastructure platform, and my application as well. So it's something that I'm looking at in my local data center, or maybe the infrastructure service that I have got from a cloud environment. Now, Jenkins has gone ahead to that. There's a new application that's been floated a couple of years back, and that's Jenkins X. Now, Jenkins X is a new age tool. The basic funda remains the same. Is going to help you to implement continuous integration and basically the automation of processes. But it's all driven on cloud. So you can think of a serverless application or something similar to that. You don't need to really worry about having any server physical maintained or infrastructure maintained on which you're going to deploy Jenkins. It's basically all cloud and container driven architecture. But what do I achieve? I'm going to achieve this pipeline. Now, let me just quickly talk about this pipeline. What is this? This is basically a GitHub repository, an SCM repository. Then I have Jenkins server in here. Then I have a build server. And then I have an application Tomcat server as well. So what I'm looking at my developers checking in the code into the GitHub repository. This need not be GitHub. This can be any other application, any other version control application. And my Jenkins server, I'm going to install the plugin which is going to help me to integrate with GitHub. So it's going to integrate to GitHub, and I'm going to have one more build server in here. That's going to be Maven. So this is a separate virtual machine. Okay, and this is a separate virtual machine. So I'll be able to maintain and manage my build on a separate build server, but control all through my Jenkins server. So these three functions like GitHub, Jenkins CI, and my build server are going to help me to implement my CI. That's my continuous integration. Now I can further test my application by having a test server integrated as well, by which I'll be able to drive my application testing, and that will take me into the continuous delivery. I can further extend that to deploying my application to the Tomcat server as well. So this can help me to implement continuous deployment as well. Now I haven't talked about that. Okay, so basically continuous deployment is something that's an extension again to my continuous delivery, which will help me to deploy the application into the Tomcat server as well. Now there are these two guys as well. What are these? Might have heard about Jira. Yes, Jira is basically my defect tracking system. So as I'm a developer and testing environment related things that I'm trying to automate in here, I should have a defect tracking system integrated with Jenkins as well. So what will I achieve? If something goes wrong in my build, there has to be a ticket raised automatically, a Jira created in Jira server and assigned to a particular user. Okay. Whenever I'm going to correct that issue, whenever the build is going to create or have the compilation in the binaries and package created, where do I keep the package? I need to push that package to a centralized package repository, and that's going to be the Artifactory or Nexus repository. Now, you might have heard about that. So basically, these two applications, Nexus and Artifactory, they are used for binary repositories. Now, there is a difference between GitHub source control repository and a binary repository. What is it? GitHub or source control management repository is only going to have the source code, not the binaries, whereas Artifactory is only going to have the binaries, not the source code. So do I really need to have that segregated? Yes. As per the guidelines or as per the rules and regulations, most of the cases you need to keep the deployable product separately on a common repository, which is accessible by different teams. I'll be able to pull that package and deploy onto my Tomcat server. So I'm going to look at this as my end-to-end delivery pipeline. Okay, now let me take you to a next implementation or next uh, understanding as well. So here I'm going to, or I'm just trying to expand that more into a larger picture where I might have a container environment, a production environment as well, driven through Docker or Kubernetes. And I'm looking at a deployment tool in here as well, like something as Ansible, or it can be any other deployment tool. So I'm looking at one big picture of continuous delivery pipeline and deployment, wherein everything is going to be automated. Okay. And this is what most of the time organizations will think of implementing. And this is what we during the training would try to implement and achieve as a practical scenario. Now, forget about what application that you are going to drive through in here. This can be any application for that sake. This can be your Windows-based application, can be Java, can be Python, or whatever application that you think of. It's basically this process that will help you to drive and deploy your application. You just have to replace a couple of things here and there depending on the platform or the development platform that you are changing. Okay, let's quickly look at a practical scenario. I'm trying to show you a few things in Jenkins today, and not exactly as a it's the same concept that I have it on the screen, but yes, let me try to show you something that will help you to understand. Okay, so I have my Jenkins server in here. Now let me quickly talk about Jenkins is something that I have deployed. Now this is a classic Jenkins that I have in here. It's not a Jenkins X that I'm looking at. It's not Jenkins X. This is classic Jenkins, which is all driven through plugins, and it does work successfully as well, definitely. Now, what do I have in here? This is basically my dashboard of Jenkins, wherein number of jobs that you're going to have. And currently I have these 4 jobs. This particular job that I'm going to show in here is one which is going to help me to achieve continuous integration. I can extend that to continuous delivery as well and deployment ultimately. Let me tell you and let me show you how that does that work. Okay, so I have this job that I have already built. Now, job is basically a simple process that I have automated using Jenkins. Now, look at a Jenkins job as a collection of different tasks that are going to run one after other to perform the continuous integration or the automated build. Now, how does that work? Let me show you a couple of things in here. If I get into the configure here, I have all different type of configurable items. I'm not going to look into the details, but If you're familiar with Jenkins, you can definitely understand it easily. But if not, I'm just going to quickly run through all these options here. I have general tab, which talks about how does the configuration of working through the build environment. Then I'm going to choose which is my source control tool that I'm going to deal with. So as part of the continuous integration, I have to deal with our source control management tool, right? So I can choose that here, whichever tool that I'm going to work with. Again, how does that work with plugins? So it's all plugin driven. So if I want to deal with GitHub or Git or any other variant of Git, I need to make sure a plugin is installed so that I can work or I can integrate Jenkins with that tool. Then I have a couple of other ways how I am going to start or schedule my job. So if you remember what I was talking about, a continuous integration, it's a process which is going to help the developers to integrate their work frequently depending on a certain trigger. Now, what are these triggers? These triggers can be anything between this. So you can think of uh, triggering your job at a certain frequency multiple times in a day, or on a particular event like you check in the code into the version control system, a new version that is a changed code, and that can be taken as an event and that can trigger your job. So there are different ways to trigger your job. Then you have build environment, which will you will be able to deal with how and where you are going to rather how you are going to implement this kind of scenario. Okay, so ultimately we are looking at this kind of scenario to be implemented. And so this is my entire environment that I want to deal with. And that's something we'll be able to manage through these options. Then you have options about what you want to achieve as part of the task. I was talking about a job is what? It's a collection of tasks. So these are basically the build tasks that you can implement in here. So basically Jenkins is such a powerful tool. You can have n number of steps integrated in one job, and you can have all different type of tools that you can integrate and work with as far as you have a plugin for. So in here, I have a plugin installed for Maven, which is going to help me to integrate Jenkins with Maven and run the build for me using Maven. Now, as an example, as a thing to showcase, I have this scenario where I have integrated Maven with Jenkins. I have integrated um, Git with Jenkins, or rather GitHub. And then I have a couple of other things here as well, which will help me to create Jira issue if I want to. Okay, so if there is a failure, I'll be able to create a defect and register that in Jira, and I can assign that to the related person as well. I can send an email notification depending on the successful and failure. So it's going to be very flexible way of managing the entire cycle. Now, currently, I just have a couple of these things. Let us try to understand what this will help me to achieve. Okay. Now I'm not going to manually run this. Basically, here I have a process which will um, help me to start the build manually. So if I click on build now, it's going to start the build. Let me click on that. Um, it's going to appear in here now. It's basically a simple desktop or a dashboard that I have. And this dashboard shows the number of builds that I have executed. So this is the one that I just ran. And if I get into that, I'll be able to know what actually has happened. So it's a very descriptive way of looking at it. What has happened, what has actually been running in the background, what output that you can expect, that's all shown in here. Okay, which shows that I have a var file created. Okay, now there are a couple of things that is been defined in here. Triggering a new build in deploy and triggering a new build in deploy Ansible. What does that mean? Now, basically, these two different jobs that I have, which are going to trigger after successful implementation of this particular job. Okay, something that I'm looking at, having dependency between different jobs created, which means if these jobs complete successfully, I'll be able to trigger the other jobs as well. Okay, let me go back and I'm going to now show you a couple of things in here. Let me um, now the repository, the source control repository that I have the code in here. So that let's consider this is my development environment. Okay, I have this, a simple project, which is basically a Maven project. It has SRC target. If you're familiar with Maven and Gradle, you can easily know this is a Maven project which has a form.xml as well. We are not going to dig into that, but in actual training, we are going to cover that entire very in detail. Now, let me quickly get into SRC, main, web apps, and WebIML. Now, here is my web.xml file. I'm not really interested in web.xml. Let me open my index.jsp file. Okay. Okay, let me make a couple of changes in here. What's date today? It's going to be 27th. And let us say that. Now what I have done a simple change. Now let's consider that's going to be that actual change that you're expecting in your application, and you need to make sure that gets tested. Now don't worry about what or complex change. It's one of the most simplest change that I can expect. So I need to make sure this gets added into my local GitHub repository, rather Git repository. So I'm going to say git add, git commit. Okay, so a simple change has been modified and added to the Git repository. Now my Jenkins is not looking into this local repository, but instead it's looking into my remote repository. Now where is that remote repository? I'll have to check that. Um, okay, okay. So I'm going to say git push origin master. I suppose I'm into the master branch. Yeah. Okay, so what I have done in here, I have basically pushed a simple change to my GitHub repository. And where is that? It's basically on my GitHub repository, which I have integrated in here. Let me get back into the configuration. Okay, so this is the one that I have pushed to. Now, what should I expect? I'm expecting my job to trigger automatically because I have configured this particular job to trigger on an event as poll SCM. What does that mean? It's going to poll the SCM repository every 10th minute, and if it sees or if it finds that there is a new version on the GitHub repository, it's going to trigger the build, and I'll be able to get my application tested. Now we might have to wait for this to actually run. May not have enough time for now, but this is what we will be able to achieve. Now, as I mentioned, there are a number of ways you can automate the things, and Jenkins is absolutely has no limits on to what level you can automate your process and tasks. Now, what I wanted to showcase in here today is a simple way I can use Jenkins for running continuous integration and delivery as well. I can, as I mentioned, I can further extend that to deployment by having some of these tasks or some of these um, jobs in deployed as well. Now, I have a job in here which is pending. Now, what this job is going to do is basically a deployment job, which will help me to perform deployment to my Tomcat server using Ansible. So these jobs are basically helping me to perform continuous integration, delivery, and deployment. And once this I have configured in my Jenkins, I can expect this to run for ages. Of course, this is all plugin driven and manually driven, in the sense you need to make sure you create the jobs to run this. You can go back to these jobs, make changes, and expect this to run again. Now, this is how you will be able to achieve CI and CD, and ultimately the end-to-end delivery pipeline as well. Now, as I have shown in here, this is basically one would want to get implemented. And in most cases, in our training, we achieve this for multiple projects, not just one, but multiple complex projects as well. You can extend that to a Dockerized container production environment or a VM environment as well. Okay, hope you guys have got a fair idea about what is CI and CD and how we will be able to achieve that as well. Now I'm going to open for few questions that you guys have. We can discuss that quickly and then we can wrap up. Thank you. Okay, Pratyush, can we have...
Wonderful insight.
Hello. Yes.
Audible, Ganesh?
Yes.
So I'm just unmuting participants so that they
Okay.
can also ask. I have unmuted everyone. So guys, feel free to ask if you have any open question. Under chat or questions section. Ganesh, it seems that
there are questions in question section. You can check them out.
Right. But Ganesh,
Yeah, let me check that.
so Ganesh, yeah,
Sorry, I'm not able to get those. Can you guys help me, Pratyush, or maybe anyone from the
so
organization?
Ganesh, it is in question
yeah,
section.
what I'll do,
Just write in the chats.
Okay.
are you able to see where?
No, I'm not able to see the questions tab in here. If you can help me to get it on the chat window.
Yeah, no worries. So let me take first question. So the first question is from Mohammad Sardar, and the question is, it would be nice to share the setup on Jenkins for playing around. So this is more of a ask.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's
Why
from
not?
Mohammed.
Okay, sure, Mohammed. What I can do is I can quickly guide you guys where from you can get Jenkins downloaded. And basically the Jenkins IO page, I mean the Jenkins organization and the help page has very descriptive information about how we can get that installed. Now, let me quickly show you that as well. So you can get into jenkins.io page, and here is a tab for download. And this talks about what platform on which you want to deploy. Let us understand. Let's consider I have decided to deploy it on Windows. So this will help me to first of all download the Jenkins MSI. So it has started downloading the Jenkins MSI for me. Okay, I'm currently pausing that. So once it has been downloaded, you can go ahead and install it. And by default, it's going to run on port 8080 as I have in here. Okay, it runs basically on the port 8080 always. So once you have your Jenkins server up and running, that's something you can work with, and it's very user friendly and easy way to work with. Hope that helps. Thank you. Next question. You can choose between any of these platforms. If you have decided to go for maybe Mac or CentOS or Ubuntu, you can choose between this. And once you get into that page, it's going to give you some easy information about how you can get the package and how you will be able to install that. So Jenkins, I mean the site Jenkins.io is very well documented. It's very easy to understand, and you can run through the entire thing very easily. Thanks. Do we have any other question?
Are you able to see a dashboard under polls?
No, not really.
So I'm going to ask, that would be a better way, I think. So let me do that. I have done it. So
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, Mohammed.
Okay, great. So
Yes,
basically,
please.
I was thank you for this. I was basically asking about the configurations that you did in the project. I mean, we can then play with
Okay.
a simple example. So is it possible to share the Jenkins configurations that you did there so that we have a small kind of a setup that we can run your repository and then play around with that? Is that possible to share that?
Let me check. I have a couple of documents. Let me see how we can share that with you guys. Yeah, man, definitely that documentation will help you to go through configuration part, initial one, and then probably get a simple job created as well.
Yeah,
Let me see how
I
we can
mean,
share that with all the audience.
yeah, the documentation, I mean, we can get from the Jenkins websites, but something practical or a sort of layout that we can try out readily and then learn from there. That was what I was hoping for, if it is easily possible. I mean, uh, the settings that you have done for this project, and then we can then play around and build and see the things, how they are going on.
I do understand. I have a document, and as I mentioned, let me check what is the best way to share all across the audience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You can maybe ask you to mute yourself. So let me read out on his behalf. So question, hi Ganesh, just wanted to know
Yep.
more insights.
Hello, Ganesh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was having some trouble with my microphone.
No issue.
Yeah, my question is, often at times security is one of the major concern in terms of code quality while deploying it and monitoring it. Would you
Mhm.
like to suggest some, tools that can add an advantage into it?
You mean to while the code has been tested?
Yes.
Um, so I'm not sure about a security tool, but I can assure definitely that there are plugins in Jenkins that you can think of integrating any tool for that matter. I may not be able to right away pinpoint a particular one. Yes, but um, there's absolutely no limit on what a particular tool that you can integrate with. Now, let's say I am having Selenium that I have integrated with Jenkins for testing my application, and I'm running maybe that through uh, a a task in Jenkins, or maybe something that I'm driving through Maven as part of the Maven phase. Now, if I'm running and testing my application, if I want to have security, checks incorporated into that as well, you can think of any particular tool. As I mentioned, I may not be able to exactly name that currently, but yes, you can integrate that with Jenkins. Virtually any kind of tool can be integrated with Jenkins, basically. But I can
Okay,
definitely help you out. Yeah.
sure.
Please feel to speak up if you have any doubts. You can put it on chat window to me, or you can just speak up what any doubt that you have.
Guys, we are already, top of time. So last question. We can take last question from you, and then we'll wrap up. And feel free to write to us, if you have any other questions regarding our programs, upcoming workshops, the detailed, if you need a detailed insight into, how entire DevOps tool stack work, then feel free to write to us at training@devopsuniversity.org. We'll be happy to help you. We do have a free community where you can post your open questions, and our practitioners will be answering those questions. So last question, guys, and otherwise we'll wrap up. All right, I think in interest of time, so I would like to thank you, each one of you, for attending this session. We are sure that you must have a good insight around CI/CD now. And a big thank you to Ganesh for a very crisp and clear insight into CI/CD pipeline. Thank you so much once again. Good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks to everyone. Thank you.